All right, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Living the Dream podcast. Today on the show, we're going through Proverbs 6, verse 13. So let's get it. Winks with his eyes, signals with his feet, points with his finger. That's the whole verse. So I'm going to give you a little bit of context here. In verses 10 and 11, it talks about a little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the hands to rest, and poverty will come upon you like a robber, and want like an armed man. Then it talks about a worthless person, a wicked person goes about with crooked speech, and the same wicked, worthless person winks with their eyes, signals with their feet, and points with their finger. And so, really, this just made me think about body language and what our body language says about us and who we are. And this specifically, like winking with your eyes, sometimes when you wink, it's to signal that you just deceived somebody. And it's like, hey, ha, gotcha. And that's kind of like wicked and worthless. And, it's games that you're playing with people that probably aren't the kindest games, or it's to imply something sexual with the opposite sex. That's why people wink. It's like, hey, I see you. I got you. If you want to do this thing later, let's go for it. That's kind of what winks mean to me. I'm not the best at interpreting winks. Honestly, I don't wink at people. People don't wink at me. Sometimes winks can be playful. I'm not saying they're all wicked, they're all worthless. But in this scenario, it is saying that the worthless person and wicked man winks with their eyes. And so they're probably signaling some deception, some sort of like maybe lustful action. I don't know. That's what I think of when I think of winks. And then pointing fingers, I think of judgment, just hands down, which is something that is worthless and wicked as well. So we got judging people, maybe deceiving people or engaging in lustful activity, trying to I don't know, manipulate people with your wink or get in their head, whatever it may be. And then you have signals with his feet. And there's a little, um, for lack of a better word, exponent next to signals. And basically, you go down to the subtitles or subnotes or whatever they are. They're little text at the bottom of the Bible, and it gives you some more context, right? And so there's a two next to signals, and it says Hebrew scrapes. So I read this as winks with his eyes, scrapes with his feet. And when I picture this totally could be wrong. I totally could be misinterpreting this, but I picture somebody dragging their feet. And so now you have somebody judging somebody, deceiving somebody, or trying to manipulate their mind, engage in lustful activity, etc. And then dragging your feet shows like, just a general mood of like, I'm sad, or this ain't it, or, I'm just dragging my feet. I'm not fully engaged in life. I don't have the energy that I'm called to bring to life. And so that's what I'm seeing with this person. Judgment, not bringing energy, deception, or maybe some lustful activity with the wink, whatever it may be. Body language is saying a lot about who this person is. And so the entrepreneurial application of this is have great body language that displays confidence, decisiveness, and seriousness when it comes to business. So where has this shown up in my life? I would say choosing to smile. A lot of people recognize my smile and will compliment me on it because it's a really big smile. It's a really engaged smile. And I like to make eye contact with people when I smile. And it helps them feel kind of welcomed and happy. It also helps me feel better because body language also um, it like helps you change your emotion, if that makes sense. So Tony Robbins says emotion is caused by motion or something like that, something to that tune. Like our motion, our literal how we move our body affects our emotion. And we see this plenty of ways. If you're sad and you choose to smile, you'll get happier. If you do Tony Robbins, if you take his advice and you do some power moves when you're feeling low energy, you'll have higher energy. And those are just a few ways that body language can change your emotional state. But also just think about working out. Like when you work out in the morning, you feel more energized, you feel happier. There are like endorphins literally released in your body that are going to make you feel better throughout the day. And so that is an example of movement changing your emotional state. So if it happens when you're working out, if it happens when you smile, and it happens when you do your power moves, how else is your body language giving feedback to your emotional state? So maybe you are sad, but then you choose to drag your feet, which reinforces the fact that you're sad. Or maybe you realize you're sad, you choose to be happy, and you start running, or you start jumping, or you start screaming with excitement. It's like you can reinterpret your emotional state, choose to change it, act accordingly, and then you'll send feedback to your body to feel a certain way. because that's what happens when we move. Emotion is caused by motion, right? That's what Tony Robbins says. So where do I want this to show up in my life? I would say proactively changing my body language. So I want to do stuff that I don't feel like doing so that I can feel a different way, particularly how I want to feel. So if I'm feeling sad and I don't feel like going to the gym, or I'm feeling tired and I don't feel like going to the gym, but I want to feel happy and awake, I need to go to the gym, which is something I don't feel like doing so that I can feel a different way, particularly what I want to feel like. And so when you get up and you do those disciplined actions and you make sure they're designed to put you in the state that you want to be in, you start to be the author of your life a bit more, which is really cool because I think we have that ability. How can you guys apply this to your life? This is very specific here. If you're feeling anxious, hold the Superwoman pose for 2 minutes. Tony Robbins also talks about this. If you haven't been to a Tony Robbins seminar, you need to go. I definitely need to go because I've listened to the man talk like online and stuff, but I haven't been to a seminar live. I really want to do it before he stops doing them, right? Hold this Superwoman pose for 2 minutes. You stand tall, your chest is out, your head is up. This increases your testosterone, decreases your cortisol, and increases your risk tolerance just by holding the pose for 2 minutes. And Tony Robbins has been talking about this for a while. Harvard did a study that showed this, and they had some numbers to it. I think like 20-something% increase in testosterone, 20-something% decrease in cortisol, and like 30% increase in risk tolerance. Like you can literally Google it and check it out. But what's cool about this is I think testosterone is linked to your ability to tolerate risk or take risk, right? Like if you have more testosterone in your body, when you are presented with an option that has risk, you are more likely to take that risk. I think that's how that works. Don't quote me on that, but cortisol, I know, is linked to stress. So if you have less cortisol in your body, you are less stressed. And so now you increase your testosterone, which helps you tolerate risk more, helps you, testosterone is linked to like strength and athletic performance as well. Like when a lot of bodybuilders want to get bigger faster, they start taking testosterone. And then cortisol decreases, so you're fitter, more fit, more willing to take risks, which means you're probably a bit more decisive. If you're willing to take a risk, you're not going to worry about the risk as much. You're just going to decide and go for it. And then you're less stressed. Isn't that crazy? More risk tolerant and less stress. How's that happen at the same time? It wouldn't work for a lot of us, but it's true. So hold that pose for 2 minutes, standing tall, chest out, head up, kind of hands on your hips, like Superwoman would do in her iconic pose. And yeah, just go for it. Apply that to your life. Do it when you start to feel anxious, you start to feel worried, you start to feel scared. Do that power pose, and it will help you feel stronger, less stressed, and more risk tolerant. So there we go. That's what we got for you guys today on the show. Thank you so much for listening. We will see you on the next one. And on that note, we're out.